Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Fall. Jersey Joe Archino back here with your Week 7 NFL picks. Not wasting any time, getting right into it. And then we have a little bit of a broad showdown with the Giants going to England to play the LA Rams. And certainly the Giants getting a much needed win for themselves against the Ravens last Sunday. And the Rams certainly rebounding very nicely from what we all considered a disastrous start on Monday Night Football. So it's on a foreign ground, which I think it makes all these games a little bit more difficult when you're trying to pick them, but I am going with the Giants here. I think this is an interesting game. The Giants certainly getting a big win in the way that they rebounded. Odell Beckham Jr. came on fire. Obviously, he's got a little bit of things he still has to work on, but I think for the most part, that was the game, the confidence booster he really needed to get himself going again, and I think it's one of the things that helps re-energize the Giants again. I have them winning on the road in England. Then the Buffalo Bills on the road against the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, to me, might just be the worst team in the NFL this season. They went against the Steelers last week, a very shocking one, which knocked a heck of a lot of people out of their elimination pools. But I think largely the Bills right now are just in business. They start the season 0-2. They've won 4 games in a row, and make no mistake about it, it has been behind the offense. LaShawn McCoy, a tremendous day on the ground against the 49ers. Tyrod Taylor's job gets fundamentally easier when LaShawn McCoy is running the ball like he is. And I mean, McCoy has just been such a mark of consistency since he has come into the league, and he's just replicating that same model that has earned him what we all understand him to be, in one of the best backs in the league. He has been tremendous this year, and I think that success carries the Bills to a 5th win in a row. Then the Browns on the road against the Bengals, and the Browns are still looking for that win. I don't think any of us expect that to come at the hand of the Bengals since Cincinnati is home, but Cincinnati a very disappointing 2-4. I don't think Marvin Lewis can escape this time. I do think at the end of the season the Bengals will be looking for a new head coach, but on the Browns, just for a note, they are 0-6. But that's not an 0-6 that's due to a lack of effort. This is a team that plays hard. This is a team that's prepared to play. It's just a matter of there not being the talent there to win. And I think the level of commitment that they show and the effort they show really stems from Hugh Jackson. And to me, that's why bringing him in as the head coach there in the offseason was a tremendous move, but I have the Bengals, as I'm sure 99.9% of America does. Then we have the Redskins on the road against the Detroit Lions. A very interesting game. Both teams playing very good football right now. The Lions getting 2 big wins in a row against the Eagles, and then this past week against the Rams. Matt Stafford, what can you say about him? Going back to last season, since week 10, you look at the numbers, he has been fantastic. And he's really doing it with a lackluster offensive line and with no running game. Matt Stafford has been incredible. I think he's played since week 10 of last season. You look at the start he had of getting a win against the Colts on the road. To me, he has maybe really taken that next step forward. And to me, the reason it's even more easy to see is that fact I alluded to earlier. He has no offensive line and he has no running game. The weapons he has to work with now that Calvin Johnson is gone are average at best. So I think what Stafford's doing right now is tremendous. The Redskins, though, again, they're playing very well. They've rebounded very nicely from starting the season 0-2. This is a tough game. This is about a coin flip here, but I am going to go with Detroit based on the way Matt Stafford has played. I think like the Lions games have been these past few weeks, it comes down to the fourth quarter. It comes down to the last 2 minutes, and Matt Stafford has been very good in the 2-minute drill in the fourth quarter of games this season. I'm putting the ball in his hands, and I think he'll get the win. Then the Colts on the road against the Titans. And the Titans and Marcus Mariota have had a really good year so far, 3-3, but this is a very young team with a very young quarterback, and all you want to do right now is help grow that quarterback. And make no mistake, Marcus Mariota has shown a lot of growth this year. And the Colts, on the other hand, have regressed to a point where the only way they can salvage anything and look to a hopeful future is to just clean house from GM to head coach. But I think more than anything, this is a desperation game for the Colts at this point. To start the season 2-5, I really think if they continue going in this direction after their bye week, they have to look to make changes immediately on the coaching staff and at the GM spot. But But right now, I do think the Colts will get that win. I just think right now they're backed up against a wall. Andrew Luck is doing everything humanly possible to keep this team afloat, but he just doesn't have the support structure around him. But I do think they will get a desperate win on the road against Tennessee. Then the New Orleans Saints on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs pulling off a big win on the road against Oakland last week. The Saints pulling off a big win against the Panthers off their bye week. Now, a lot of people are going with the Chiefs here, understandably so, after they beat the Raiders on the road. But to me, I think this is a game that sets up well for the Saints. The Saints had their bye week at the right time. They won before it, and then they won after it. And they had a very tough start to their season. So I think the way things have lined up for the Saints look pretty good for them. I'm still not totally sold on this Kansas City Chiefs team. To me, they're just not explosive enough. The Saints looked very explosive last week against the Panthers, and I do think in a game like this, where everyone's going the Chiefs' way, it looks a little too easy to pick them. I'm going with the Saints to get a big win on the road. Then the Raiders also go on the road against the Jaguars, and I had big hopes for this Jaguars team this year. I really thought they were going to continue to build and take a big step forward, but I just haven't seen that level of improvement I was hoping to see from them. They kind of look like they're in that same area they've been in. There is a lot of talent on this team. There is a lot of youth on this team, and the Raiders, they drop a game against the Chiefs last week, a tough divisional loss, but they do a very good job at getting their guys coached up. Jack Del Rio does a tremendous job. To me, the Jaguars just don't have maybe the organizational ability or the coaching ability to beat a team like Oakland, who really is going to come out ready for a win here. I've got them on the road, and we all understand Oakland has been so good on the road this year. They're probably the best road team in the NFL so far this season. I think that continues. They get a win against the Jaguars on the road. Now, this is a very difficult game, this next one. The Vikings on the road against the Eagles. Carson Wentz starts his career on a tremendous note. After his bye week, things have gotten a little bit more difficult, and I think we all anticipated that, losing their last two games for the Eagles. Now the Vikings, who also come off their bye week, they're on the road to play an Eagles team, and Carson Wentz is now really facing his first taste of true adversity, trying to avoid losing 3 games in a row. So I think when you look at this game, there's been so much said about the Vikings. They're 5-0. They've been really tremendous this season. Do they go to 6-0? I am going to put them at 6-0, mainly because they come off the bye. I think the Eagles are hungry. I think the Eagles will give them a really good game. But to me, Sam Bradford, the way that he has played at this point, and the fact that he just got a bye week to recover and learn even more about this system, that just tells me he should be even better and have an even better handle. And he's already handled himself so well in this offense. I think the Vikings go to 6-0 and win against the Eagles. Then you've got the Ravens on the road against the Jets. And look, we all understand the Jets right now are just a big mess. There's just so much controversy right now. Geno Smith named the starter for this team. The Ravens coming off a very disappointing loss on the road to the Giants. They're on the road again, and that's not easy when you keep on having these situations thrown at you. The Ravens are banged up right now. They have some key injuries in key places, and I think this is one of those situations where, look, I've picked the Jets a couple times this year, and it's bitten me every single time. Maybe I just haven't learned yet, but I'm going with the Jets here. I just think at the end of the day, something's got to wake up this team. And the Ravens right now, they kind of get them at a chance where they are vulnerable right now. The Ravens, again, have those injuries. They're going on the road again, which is not easy, back-to-back like that. And I just think right now the Jets, with a little bit of new blood. And Geno Smith, let's make no mistake about it, he had a couple moments here and there where he was winning some football games. Then Ryan Fitzpatrick came onto the scene and he played so well. So I think Geno has been really waiting for this moment. I'm not saying that he's going to be the answer to the Jets' problems permanently, but I think for a game here, he can bring a little bit of something back to this team, and they can have a moment of glory, which they've really been waiting for all year. But I got the Jets here, and it's bitten me before, but hopefully not this time. Then the Atlanta Falcons at home against the San Diego Chargers. Very tough one here. I think Atlanta has been tremendous. I mean, we all kind of we're waiting for that game on the road against Seattle to see if this was a real Atlanta team, because they started the year really well last year, and then it all fell apart very quickly. But I think when you look at this Chargers team right now, we saw it against Denver again on Thursday night. They just barely scrape by and get a win to go to 2-4. I like Phillip Rivers. I think he's really as tough as they come. But this is a Chargers team that struggles closing games, and their confidence is shaken a lot. I think Atlanta's been very good in the fourth quarter, and I think when I look at a big difference like that right there, it's pretty easy to go with the Falcons at home. Then the San Francisco 49ers at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Colin Kaepernick was as bad as we thought he would be against the Buffalo Bills. It's just a team right now that lacks talent in a lot of places, and quarterback is, of course, the biggest of all. Tampa Bay comes off of their bye, and I do think that helps them really be sparked and get back on track and to win this game and to go to 3-3. And then you've got the New England Patriots on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. New England, of course, what can you say? 5-1. Tom Brady's been fantastic since he's come back. Ben Roethlisberger is going to miss some time with his injury. I think this is an easy one. You go with the Patriots on the road. The Seattle Seahawks on the road against the Cardinals. I am going with Seattle here. Seattle's 4-1. But to me, Arizona is just missing something. You know, the last 2 years, what Bruce Arians has done with that team has been nothing short of sensational. And I think when you look at them right now, they're just missing something. There's something not there. I always was marveled at what Arians was able to do with Carson Palmer at quarterback. And I think eventually who you are always catches up to you, and who Carson Palmer is has certainly caught up to him. It caught up to him in the NFC Championship game last season, and I think it's catching up to them tremendously this year. I have Seattle on the road winning, and then your final game on Monday night, the Houston Texans on the road against the Denver Broncos. Houston pulling off a huge win against the Colts in overtime this past Sunday. Denver coming off a bad loss to the Chargers on Thursday night. That offense for Denver really seemed to struggle. Gary Kubiak was, of course, out and healing up. He will be back for this one, and I think that's really the ultimate difference at home. I'll take Gary Kubiak with his team against the Texans. But that is going to do it for your Week 7 NFL picks. Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. I'll catch everybody in the next episode.